The Victoria Letters. The Heart and Mind of a Young Queen. Written by Helen Rappaport. Read by Jessica Ball, Gabrielle Glaister and Duguld Bruce Lockhart.
Forward by Daisy Goodwin. Who was Queen Victoria? The image most of us have is of an old lady in a bonnet dressed in black, the woman who is immortalised in countless statues all over the country. Until this year, she was our longest reigning monarch, coming to the throne in 1837 when she was 18, and reigning for 63 years until her death in 1901. Photography was invented in the early years of her reign, but the first images of Victoria and her husband Albert were taken in the 1850s, when Victoria was already a mother of 9, so we have no photographic record of the young Victoria, the teenager who on the morning of the 20th of June, 1837, woke up to find that she was the queen of the most powerful country in the world. But we do have records of her diaries, which have left behind an indelibly vivid picture of the passionate, strong-willed girl. Here she is writing about Albert shortly after their engagement. I just saw my dearest Albert in his white cashmere breeches, with nothing on underneath. Or after their first parting. Oh, how I love him, how intensely, how devotedly, how ardently. I cried and felt so sad, wrote my journal, walked, cried. I first came across Victoria's journals when I was at university studying 19th century England, and I was immediately taken by the girl that sprang out of the pages. Many years later, when I had a teenage daughter of my own, I had a row with her one morning, and it suddenly struck me that she was pretty much the same age and size, 5'0", as Victoria when she became queen. And then I thought, what would happen if she woke up one morning and found that she was the most famous woman in the world? From that moment on, I started writing scenes in my head, and the idea for Victoria, the TV series, was born. From the beginning, I wanted to show Victoria as a girl who had to do her growing up in public. Most of us get to make our adolescent mistakes in private, but Victoria had to do everything under the scrutiny of her courtiers, the press and the public. There were no royal spin doctors in those days, and when Victoria made mistakes, and she made some serious ones in the early years of her reign, there was no press office to hide behind. There were plenty of people who thought that an 18-year-old girl could not be an effective monarch. But it is clear when you read Victoria's own words that she was a woman with an extraordinary sense of her own identity. Despite having every aspect of her early life controlled by her mother and her mother's advisor, Sir John Conroy, Victoria was not moulded by them. From the moment she came to the throne, she was determined to do things her way. To take one example, as a baby she had been christened Alexandrina Victoria, after her godfather Alexander of Russia, and her mother Victorine. As a little girl she was called Drina by her mother and her governess Lazen. But on her accession, she decided that instead of taking a queenly name like Mary or Elizabeth, she wanted to be called Queen Victoria. This was shocking at the time because the name Victoria was completely new. But Victoria, my heroine, knew instinctively that it was the right name for her. In that sense, at least, she created the Victorian age. I've used the girl that springs out of Victoria's diaries and letters as the basis for the character that Jenna Coleman plays with such skill in the series. I hope that watching the show will make people curious about Victoria, and this book, so brilliantly put together by the 19th century expert Helen Rappaport, is the perfect place to start if you want to know the history behind the series. I hope that the series and this book will show that Victoria is very much a heroine for our times. In many ways, she is the first woman to have it all. Her struggles to be a wife and mother as well as a...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?